Hey friend, Roderick Christofferson here again with another first listen review. It's really early in the morning, so I got the morning voice going on, which is killer, which makes the babbling even better. I guess, I don't know. But ready to talk about one that I'd actually saw was coming out, kind of forgot about it, and then when I showed up yesterday, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm talking about Epica and their newest album called Aspiral. And this is one of those bands that how I discovered them was way back. I went and saw a concert with Camelot, like way back, when the Black Halo came out. And, of course, they had the song The Haunting. Well, she wasn't with them at that point. I think it was the guitarist, his wife, I believe, was singing the background vocal part, but I thought the song was really cool. And of course, they had a bunch of killer songs, but I think that was the single at that point in time. And went and checked out the video, and I was like, ooh, who's that singing in the video? Because it's not the same person. So I went and checked it out. Of course, it was Simone Simmons, and come to find out that they named the band Epica after the Camelot album Epica, and they're big fans and friends. She's made several guest appearances, live and in on a record with them, since then, or even before possibly, I don't remember. But anyway, so started listening to them for like quite a bit since then. And this quick little note is last year Simone released her first ever solo album called Vermilion, which I did a review on. A killer album. Like, if you're into this style of music, that is one of these rare occasions where something really unique happens and it's something different that you haven't heard. Amazing album. She had Aaron Lukinson, if I said that right, record and write everything for her, like wrote it for her. And man, what a killer album that is. But anyway, back to this one. The first thing I noticed immediately was the production on this was stellar. One thing I've noticed with their past albums is they're very full sounding, very epic for, not to be corny, but their music's very epic, and sometimes things get lost and things get muddied up a little bit, and the bass always seems to get a little bit lost. This is better. Not perfect, but it's a lot better. I can hear what's going on most of the time with the bass, which I feel like you lose a little bit in some of the older stuff, and even on this one, when it gets a little bit thicker in the really heavier parts, it gets a little lost. But other than that, production's killer. Opening song, the first two here are actually more like basic symphonic style songs, but very memorable. A cool way to start an album. Simone's vocals on this whole entire album are like some of probably my favorite vocal performance, aside from her solo album, which was, I say these were equal. The one thing I don't want to say didn't like, but one thing that maybe on the earlier albums, some of the earlier ones especially, she sings very operatic, like a lot. And there was some of the albums, like after an album's worth of a lot of the operatic, I got a little fatigued. So I wouldn't listen to some albums I would steer away from, just because I knew they're going to be very operatic through the whole entire thing. There is still that on this album, but not hardly any, quite honestly. It's there every now and then, but not much. There is actually one song, and I think it's Obsidian Skies or whatever, Clouds or whatever that one's called, that has that, her just singing notes in it. It was very reminiscent of The Haunting, so that was kind of cool just to hear that in there. Next track on here, they have these epic things that they do. It's like a continuing line of songs is Darkness Dies in Light and New Age Dawns Part 7, which is the longest one on the whole album. It's only 8 minutes long, so it's not super long. There's no super long tracks on this whole thing. That one, I found it was cool. They did like two little short kind of mainstream ones, and then boom, right into the most epic one on the whole album. And that one, by the end of it, holy crap, does that one build up, and some of the vocals on that are insane. She like really sings and they've got some choir stuff going on in there too. Of course, they got the harsh vocals in every now and then, but it's not really overdone on this album. They're there quite frequently, but it's not overdone at all. I know sometimes that, for me, that's just my personal taste. And it's Obsidian Hearts. I don't know what I said earlier, but it's Obsidian Heart is the one I was referring to. It's probably the slowest one, aside from the final track, but I'll get to that. It's got a very slow pace to it, still heavier than you could believe. Very cool vocal part on it. I'm going to say that probably about every song, but it's very, very strong vocal part on it. It's got a little djenty thing going on in the middle, which I don't mind. I don't like djent as a genre personally, but when it's used correctly, I guess. I don't know, for my taste. That's all this is. It's about taste. I like it that way. And of course, then we get to the Fight to Survive, the Overview Effect. Just another one of these. No, wrong one. It's like we don't edit here. That one was probably the second longest song on here. No, I guess it would be the Grand Saga is the second longest, but there's a couple that are in the 6-minute mark. This is another one of those that's up there. It's kind of along the same lines. It's a lot of more mainstream stuff going on in here without a lot of progressiveness going on, but they still really build up the symphonic part of it, and I guess that's what I was trying to get at in this one. That's Metatolia, New Age Dawns Part 8 here now. 7-minute track. They throw these in every now and then, the progressive ones, I guess, is how I'd refer to it, where it really builds, and they do that there. Not quite as intricate as Darkness Dies and Light, but still, along the same lines there. Time, T-I-M-E, as it's spelled out here. Transformation, Integration, Metamorphosis, and Evolution. It's kind of the strangest one on here. I think this is their latest single, if I'm not mistaken. That one has a little bit of quirkiness going on to it. It's almost very theatrical as far as, I don't know, it almost gave me I don't want to say this the wrong way, but a circus type feel in a couple of parts, but not in a corny way. So I don't know. That's really short. Probably the shortest one on the whole album, looks like. Then we got Apparition and Eye of the Storm, which are kind of more back to the simpler things. Although I will say that the guitar work in here, the solos, in those two songs in particular. Well, actually, I think Metatolia is where I first started, or Tonia, jeez, I keep saying these things wrong, was where it really first started on this solo work, and this guitar solos, that is really, really, just kind of like, I don't know, like more thought out than what I had ever noticed before, more memorable, I guess. I don't want to say, simple or anything like that, but I think they maybe took a little bit more time in orchestrating the solo. Sometimes I think these guys just rip and see whatever they can play, but it seems like it took a little bit more time and thought out, make them a little bit more memorable on this one, even though they're very fast in some part, like in Eye of the Storm. Like super fast on that one. Actually, both of these songs have like really cool solos. So anyway, I know I'm really super babbling in this one, but and then we get to the Grand Saga of his existence, which it's the shortest of the three, but I think it's the most intricate of the three. Part 9, this would be, I guess, of all the three that they threw on this album. And I don't know, it's just like the choirs, and along with Simone's vocals by the end of the song, is probably the most epic build and climax of the whole thing. And I thought it was interesting that right after that, they ended with the song title track, Aspiral. And it's got just some narration going on in the middle of it, and I forget the dude's name, but I guess there was a guy who came up with the title, some scientist or something. I lost it. I had it in my notes here because I actually wrote this down, and I have no idea what I did with it. But either way, it's got the dude who came up with that idea talking in it, and of course, she's doing some just not really any actual words being sung, but just like some operatic stuff going on in the background, and cool, nice way to end the album. I know it's kind of all over the place in this one, but I read some reviews on this one ahead of time, so I kind of knew where it was headed. And as some of the people were saying, it wasn't the best thing they've ever done, but it's solid. I'll agree that it's very solid, rock solid. But for me, I actually really like this one. It's probably going to rank up there as one of my favorites. This is one I'm going to keep listening to over and over again. Actually, when I first got it, I just 2 times right in a row, boom, 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 right through. Loved it, and I actually can't wait to listen to it again. It's that good. And as always, I welcome any comments, anything anybody has to add that they think I've left out, anything they want to say about Epica, Simone, any of the guys in the band, whatever. Feel free, as always, like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because let me tell you, if they're going to keep putting out stuff like this, I'm more than ready for the next thing. They've always done some cool stuff. Even that little EP they did where they were working with other bands, I thought was really good. Simone's solo album, get it if you haven't gotten it. That's a must. And until next time, we will see you.